Welcome back inside the Powell Athletics Center. 54-53, Campbellsville victorious. It goes down to the wire. The Tigers pull out the 1-point victory. Coach Brent Vernon joins us. And Coach, they don't grade these things, pretty ugly, whatever it may be. This was a wild one here at the Powell, but your guys find a way to win at the end of the ball game on the defensive end.
Yeah, it goes down on the left side instead of the right. And you know, I told the guys this. I didn't talk to them obviously long, but I went in and said I'll keep it very short and sweet. Sometimes it's not pretty. You just got to find a way. And it wasn't pretty, and you got to credit Cumberland U, man. They came out and guarded us like we've never been guarded before, and you could tell. And our guys struggled. There's no doubt about it. Probably still a little hungover from Saturday. You know, I thought we had good days of practice, but you know, sometimes you can be fooled a little bit. Maybe that had a little bit to do with it. I don't know, but I'm proud. You've got to protect home court. Sometimes you got to get that lid off the rim. It felt like it was on there, not only from the three, man. We missed a lot of bunnies, right. And you know, it's just the way it goes. But it's what Mid-South Conference basketball is, and you know, it's going to be like that about every night, I'd say.
You guys, Coach, tonight were held to a season low, 54 points. The previous low was 66. Tonight, 54. You mentioned Cumberland getting out and guarding early. It's hard to win a game shooting 29%, and I think defensively you guys were pretty good as well. You forced them into 19 turnovers. You made things difficult on them in the second half, and did enough yourselves on the defensive end as well.
We did some good things defensively, but again, we've got to shore up things. And you know, we talked at halftime, this isn't the typical tempo that we play. So, you know, down 6 honestly feels like it's more like 10 to 12. The lower the scoring game, the longer the possessions ride out, the bigger lead you get. It feels even bigger than what it is. And you know, we did. If we hold people to 53, we'll be fine. But you know, 40% still too much. 11 offensive rebounds is still too much. So we've got to shore up some things. But I give our guys credit. You talk about defense. Ronald Taylor really stepped up. He got it to the point to where I couldn't take him out. He was so good, I thought, defensively. And those are things you know, I heard him the other day. He said, I've got to find a way to help our team. And that's what you got to do. Whenever the offense isn't flowing like you want it to, you become a defender, and you'll find yourself out there. And I thought he did well. I thought Deion Evans really battled. You know, again, couldn't get one to fall for whatever reason. He had some really good looks, but he battled. The 11 rebounds are big for us.
He had 11 rebounds. Andrew Smith finished with 11 rebounds as well. And the biggest one, obviously, at the end, the offensive rebound. You had enough time there to draw up whatever you wanted. You decided to go quick. Adams took the three. He got open. He had a pretty clean look. He missed it, but Drew was there. 15, 16 seconds to go. He got a big putback.
Yeah, and you know, it was quick. We wanted to run a little action for Drew block to block. And then we had Zob coming through elevator, and they did an okay job guarding it. But Zob did a good job after they guarded the initial attack, getting a look. And Drew just waited in there and found a way to get a rebound. I believe he was fouled personally. I feel like he gets punished a lot. He's 6'10", 290. He's bigger than a lot of people. And they just expect him to be able to fight through and finish through traffic and fouls. And I don't think he gets some of the calls that the other guys get, but he does a good job of moving on with it, and I've got to do a better job of moving on because that's the way they're calling it. But he finished, so we took that lead, and then it came down to one stop, and I thought we made them take a hard 15-footer. Deion did a great job of not letting Powell catch it. They wanted to isolate Powell, and Deion eliminated that, and they took a hard shot, and luckily we came up with the ball at the end.
And for Cumberland University and Coach Lewis, that's one where they've got some scorers on that team. They've got guys like Andrew Rogan and others. You had held them in check for the most part throughout the night, but that's got to be a little more difficult when you've got a guy like Powell. His game is not really his range. He was obviously their best player on the floor tonight, but that had to make it a little difficult for them drawing up that final play.
Yeah, and he's so talented, man. So talented and athletic, you know. 23 and 15 speaks for itself. And again, I thought we did a pretty good job. You know, 23 and 15, and he did commit 9 turnovers. I think that sort of evens everything out a little bit. But we had an idea of what they wanted to do. You're wanting to get it to your best player, and obviously with his stats tonight, that's who they were going to. And Deion just took it upon himself to not let him get a touch.
It's always funny the way these things show themselves at the end of a game. Not always, but when they do. If you remember, both teams assessed a technical. Hagan Tyler hit the technical free throw. Trenard Chester did not, and it's a 1-point margin of victory.
Yeah, I'm going to say, and I'd have to watch the film. Dion was there for a minute. There was actually some clutter underneath, and he said he was just afraid to go down. I'm going to say, thought it was a little different. Powell had to break away, but, that's what it is. But, we struggled. I know we shot 71 from the foul line, but it felt like we struggled, and it's because Saab misses 3, and that's somebody you don't expect. But again, when you're struggling offensively, you just got to find a way, and that's the only motto you can have for tonight, because we did get some good looks. We just missed shots.
Not a pretty win, but it's one that you can certainly draw back on later in the year, digging deep when things aren't going great and finding a way to pull one out. And I know Saturday probably seems like a long way away right now, but it'll be here really quickly. You know that. Lindsey Wilson comes to town. It'll be a packed house in the Pal, a Saturday afternoon, a rivalry matchup, and Coach Keith Atkins comes back, but this is going to be a big, important Mid-South Conference matchup.
It will, rival game, and I don't know how the scores came out tonight. They had the tough task of going on the road to Georgetown, so if they were to end up losing tonight, they're coming in here 0-2, and their backs are really against the wall. A little bit of desperation, and you think, hey, only 2 games in, are you sure desperate? But it is. I'm going to say starting out 0-3 is hard to recover from, as we knew last year, and we get in by basically a game to the national tournament. So your margin for error becomes smaller. I told our guys the biggest thing moving forward is over these next 24 hours is we'll do very little in practice. It's all prep and get a few shots up. We have to hydrate. We have to get in the cold tubs. After our game Saturday, if it had been a Thursday, Saturday, we would have been Saturday, Monday. I don't know if we could have played a game on Monday. We were still exhausted from the Georgetown game, mentally and physically. And now it doesn't matter. You have to be ready for Saturday. And again, you have to protect home court if you want a chance to compete for conference championships.
Coach, congratulations on this one. We'll do it again Saturday
Thanks,
afternoon.
Matt. Appreciate it.
Coach Brent Vernon and the Tigers victorious here this evening as they knock off Cumberland University 54-53.